Baik is one of the most successful fast food chains in the Middle East with more than 120 branches. And yeah, Baik founder was a refugee from choosing wrong place to build his restaurant to getting multiple times bankrupt. His life was full of struggle, failures and bad luck. So how he built this empire is incredible. Let's take a dive into his story. Abu Shkoor Ghazala was born in Palestine in 1928. When he was 20 years old, he lost his home and country due to war, and he moved to Saudi Arabia in 1948. He started his first job in Saudi Arabia in 1949 in an oil and gas company, Aramco. After working for 15 years in oil and gas company, he decided to left his job and move to Lebanon for better future and better education for his sons. He wants to give them good education and a good business. After working for 2 years in Lebanon, he earned some good amount of money, but suddenly something bad happened and he left empty pockets. When he got the news that the bank which he kept money got bankrupt, his dream to build his own business shattered. From 1965 to 1973, he stayed in Lebanon and tried many businesses, but unfortunately nothing worked as he planned. During that time in Saudi Arabia, due to oil boom, a lot of people were coming to Jeddah city from all over the world. So idea of fast food restaurant came to his mind, and this time he was sure that this will work 100% because there was no fast food restaurant in Jeddah that time. So he found this gap in Jeddah restaurant market. He moved to Jeddah and built a new restaurant with all his money in 1974. He signed agreement with a US company which provided secret spices and chicken frying equipment. So when everything was done and he was ready to go, another bad news was waiting for him. Place he chose for his restaurant was on the boundary of Jeddah city, and there was no electricity supply available on that place that time. His dream to build restaurant again shattered. He did not lose the hope and came up with a new idea. He rented a cheap warehouse with the only money he left in his pockets and transformed that warehouse in a restaurant and moved all his restaurant equipments to new restaurant. This time everything was fine. There was electricity available in that area, and he started his restaurant with the name of Bros. His new experiment of fast food restaurant was working, but not so well in starting days because people were not aware of fried chicken. They think it is same as grilled chicken. So he had to go to the people and explain them about his fried chicken. He was working hard. His idea was unique, but the performance of his business was not as he expected. The reason his restaurant did not do well was because of a few problems. First, the restaurant was hard to find, so not many people saw it or visited. Even if people were nearby, they could not easily notice it. Second, the number of customers changed a lot every day. Some days many people came, but other days only a few came. This caused a lot of food loss in inventory. Lastly, he was not able to advertise the restaurant well. Without good advertising, he could not attract new customers or let more people know about his restaurant. These problems with location, customer numbers and advertising made the restaurant do poorly. So his only hope to grow more his business was his old restaurant. After 2 years, he got a good news that electricity supply reached to his old restaurant. He was happy, but unfortunately, when he got this news, he was on a hospital bed. He was diagnosed with cancer, and after getting this good news, just 5 days later, he died in 1976. Shkoor Abu Ghazala had two sons, Ehsan Ghazala and Rami Ghazala, who were studying at university at the time when he died. Ehsan, the older son, finished his studies. He had just graduated with a degree in civil engineering from King Fahd University in Tehran and intended to pursue a career in the field. He was also a successful basketball player and had a professional basketball job offer lined up. However, Ehsan chose to return to Jeddah to save the family business from shutting down. Following Shakur's passing, the business lost its agency rights and had to start over. The US company that gave them chicken and frying equipment ended their contract. It was in their contract that in case of death, the company had the right to terminate the contract. Without the contract, Ehsan and Rami looked for new business ideas. They tried selling clothes, furniture, and even doing construction, but they did not succeed because they lacked experience. After trying many different businesses without success, Ehsan decided to follow their father's dream and restart the restaurant business. However, things had changed a lot. There were now about 400 restaurants in Jeddah selling similar food. Even with the challenges, Ehsan and Rami were determined to make their father's dream come true. They know it would be hard, but they were committed to reopening the restaurant and standing out among the many competitors in the city. In 1982, Rami Abogazala graduated with a degree in civil engineering. After completing his education, he returned home to help his brother Ehsan with their family business. Despite having backgrounds in engineering, neither Rami nor Ehsan had much experience in the food industry, which their business was part of. When they first started working together, Rami and Ehsan faced many challenges. Their lack of knowledge in the food industry made it difficult for them to make the right decisions. They spent a lot of time learning about the industry, trying to understand how it worked, and figuring out what they needed to do to succeed. The brothers worked hard, dedicating themselves to the business and trying various strategies to improve their situation. They concentrated on different aspects of the business, such as improving product quality, enhancing customer service, and exploring new market opportunities. Despite these efforts, they found it hard to make a substantial profit in the beginning. During this period, Rami and Ehsan learned valuable lessons about the food industry and running a business. They realized that success would not come overnight and that they needed to be patient and persistent. As always, more bad news seems to be coming for Rami and Ehsan. One day they got a call from the bank that made them feel very worried. They knew something serious was about to happen, but they had no idea how bad it would be. When they went to the bank, they felt a sense of dread. Their hearts were pounding and they looked very anxious. When they finally sat down with the bank manager, the news hit them hard. They owned 7 million riyals. This huge debt had built up over the past few years from 1976 to 1980 due to various business experiments. The news was a huge shock. The bank manager continued explaining, and Rami and Ehsan felt the weight of their situation. They had no money left and the bank was taking all their assets. Everything they had worked for was gone, leaving them with only their restaurant. It felt like their world was falling apart. Even though they were deeply upset, Rami and Ehsan knew they had to keep going. The restaurant was their only hope. Then in 1984, Ehsan, the older brother, made a bold decision. He traveled to Paris to learn more about food technology, hoping to find a way to save their business. Ehsan spent 2 years in Paris learning as much as he could. When he came back in 1986, he had a new recipe for fried chicken. They started selling this new dish and it quickly became very popular with customers. This was a turning point for their business. Rami and Ehsan decided to give their business a fresh start. They created a new logo and name, making their restaurant different from the 400 other restaurants in Jeddah. This new look, along with their tasty fried chicken, made them well known and liked by many people. Their food became popular and their restaurant became famous. What once seemed like a hopeless situation turned into a success story, thanks to their hard work, willingness to learn, and creative ideas. In 1988, Rami and Ehsan made a smart move by starting to serve pilgrims at the holy site of Mina during the Hajj season. This was a big deal because millions of Muslims visit Mina during Hajj. Their food became well known for being good and reliable during this important religious event. Seeing their success in Mina, the brothers decided to open their first outlet in Mecca in 1990. Mecca is one of the most visited sites in the world, especially during Hajj and Umrah. Having a restaurant there helped them reach many more people. In 2001, Baik opened a new restaurant in Al Madina Al Munawwara, another very important city in Saudi Arabia. This expansion made their brand even stronger in the holy cities of Saudi Arabia. With their success in Saudi Arabia, Baik started looking to other countries. In 2020, they opened 2 branches in Bahrain. This was their first step outside of Saudi Arabia. In June 2021, Baik opened its first branch in the United Arab Emirates. The UAE is a very exciting and diverse market. People were very happy about the new branch and it quickly gained many loyal customers. Each step of their growth was carefully planned and done with a focus on quality. From serving pilgrims in Mina to becoming a popular food chain in the Gulf, Baik's journey is a story of hard work, smart decisions, and steady growth.